One of the teams on the bubble for the 8th seed as we head into Orlando is the New Orleans Pelicans, and that's a team I want to highlight real quick because obviously they're a fun team, they're a young team, and they are set up for the future quite nicely. Specifically though, I want to talk about the duo of Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball, not Brandon Ingram and Zion, not Drew Holiday and Lonzo Ball as a backcourt duo, Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball. Those two developing an instant chemistry was honestly one of my favorite things to watch this season. Lonzo was already in the process of turning a slow start to the season into a career year, but on January 22nd against the Spurs, Zion Williamson made his debut. And since then, he has obviously brought some juice to the Pelicans, but he has brought the best out of Lonzo. Lonzo was slow coming out of the gate to start the season. He was dealing with an ankle injury last summer, and it really hampered his ability to work on his craft. Then, he suffered a groin injury in November, and if you look at his splits for November and December, it was brutal. In some ways, it was worse than his 2 previous years with the Lakers. But as he kept tweaking his shooting form and improving his three-point percentage, the rest of his game started to take off, even before Zion's debut. In a home game against the Rockets on December 29th, Ball tallied 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, along with 2 steals and 7 made threes out of 12 attempts. The Pelicans also got the W to boot. Since that game, Ball started playing arguably the best stretch of basketball in his career, and his three-point percentage, which was 37% for the month of December, stayed at that level. He started to look like the player that scouts, draft nerds, and fans alike loved when he came out of UCLA. Now enters Zion, who made a splash in his debut against the Spurs, and over the 19 games he has played so far in his rookie year, he has quickly formed a partnership with Lonzo that has supercharged both players and as a result has supercharged the Pelicans. A mobile big, well, I don't know what the fuck you call Zion. A player who has the generational athleticism, can run the floor, and finish the majority of his shot attempts around the rim is the perfect complement to Lonzo's rebound and go style, his feel for the game, and the feathery touch on his passes. Lonzo was known at UCLA for having every type of pass in the book, but also playing with an audacious style, throwing half-court and full-court passes in transition without even hesitating and with pinpoint accuracy. Add someone like Zion who can catch anything out of the sky, and you have a pair of players that have quickly compiled some great numbers for an NBA duo. Since Zion's debut, he has accounted for the biggest chunk of Lonzo's assist numbers out of anyone on the team. Lonzo almost averages 3 assists per game to Zion alone. Looking at Lonzo's assist averages to teammates before Zion's debut, and you can see how drastically different it is compared to now. And it's more than just throwing up a lob and hoping a freak athlete like Zion will come down with it. There are more layers to it than meets the eye. In out-of-bounds plays, in the half-court, transition, and even in semi-transition, they seem to know what each other is going to do all in a split second. Notice here how Zion has the defender on his hip in the mid-post, and then in a split second of eye contact, Lonzo starts to think lob pass as Zion is flipping his hips around Thad Young, and then note the pinpoint accuracy to where only Zion can get it. It's almost like they've been on the same wavelength since day one. Notice on this play, and I don't mean to torture Bulls fans with another clip, Zoe notices the mismatch, high points the ball to where only Zion can get it, and he overpowers Zach LaVine and finishes right at the rim for an easy 2 points. The same thing happens here with Carmelo Anthony. The lead passes Lonzo throws is akin to a quarterback throwing his receiver open, and having Zion is one fucking huge receiver. It works both ways too. Though it's not as frequent, Lonzo has become a favorite target for Zion to pass to as well. Thanks to Lonzo's off-ball game, which is now more threatening because of his improved three-point shot, Zion has been using his guard skills, decent passing chops, and his ability to make the simple read to give the love right back to Lonzo. Here, we have a simple dribble handoff that I imagine will be more lethal if Lonzo keeps shooting 38% from 3. And of course, Lonzo can run in transition with or without the ball as a big guard. And if Lonzo's three-point shot stays consistent and sustainable throughout his career, I imagine that teams will be hesitant to double off of him to defend Zion in the post, like the Rockets do here. Since Zion's return, the Pelicans' advanced numbers across the board have improved, and that's in large part because the duo of Zoe and Zion have been insane. Pulling up numbers from Cleaning the Glass, a two-man lineup of Lonzo and Zion have posted a comical 15.7 net rating. The new starting five since Zion's return has been even more absurd. The lineup of Holiday, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Derek Favors have been murdering teams on both sides of the ball. The defense does start to fall off once you take Derek Favors out of lineups, but it's worth noting that the team just isn't the same when Zoe and Zion are off the court. The Pelicans have a squad full of good players up and down the roster and have future flexibility that any franchise in the league would be envious of. However, the team struggled out of the gate with no Zion. They started 3-9 and in their first 20 games went 6-13 before going on a 13-game losing streak from the end of November to mid-December. During that time, Pelicans enthusiasts clung on to the strides Brandon Ingram made as a player, making it to his first All-Star team thanks to his improved scoring, becoming a better passer, and becoming a better three-point shooter. But the duo of Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball gave the extra juice and oomph, if you will, that the Pelicans needed to be where they are right now, which is in a tight race for the 8th and final spot in the Western Conference playoff picture.